Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milicis, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milicis, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hello, everybody. You're Simone Milicis on Joy of Business on OMTimes. And I am in Dublin, Ireland as the mist comes over. It's very misty this afternoon. So I'm in Dublin, Ireland, and I also have two of my favorite people in the world, and I may as well just introduce you and hang up because this topic, they are so good at this topic. They don't need me. I'll just ask them the random questions. So the show title today is called Using Social Media to Expand Your Business. Now, we've got Miss Emily Russell and Miss Megan Hill. So welcome, Emily and Megan.
Hi. Thank you.
So they're here. Now, Megan is, she's like our lead person on social media and access consciousness. She is an absolute whiz. It's like every time I see her look at social media, it's a really different energy. And it's like both of them have that. And I remember when I said to Megan, hey, I need someone for social media with Joy Business. And she was like, I know this girl. She said, I've been watching what she does and I think that she would work. So I was like, okay. So I spoke to Emily and ended up hiring her. And the first thing Emily did was tell me that she knew nothing about business. And she was like, how can I do this for Joy Business? I know nothing about business. I was like, it's okay. You do. And I said, you do know about business. And then later on, Megan was like, crap, I gave Emily to Simone and I need her. So now what's actually happened is Emily also works with Access Consciousness social media team. And then they end up having people do stuff for them as well as being involved in it. They see it in a completely different way. It's like I'm very intrigued and in awe of the way they see social media and what it can actually create for you and your business without letting it take over your life is what I want to say. So hopefully we'll get a few tools and a few hints on how to actually use social media in your business. And where do we want to start? Megan, let me ask you, it's like, how did you actually get involved in social media? Like when it first started coming out, it's like, what sort of drew you to it?
Oh, that's a really funny question, and I have a funny answer. So I worked in advertising and marketing after college. Well, I majored in communications, and I wanted to go into either PR or marketing, and I didn't really know what I wanted. So I started working with a talent agency, and I was basically a coordinator and agent for television shows. And so we had big castings coming through, and at that time, Facebook was only available for college students. So you had to have a college email address to actually have a Facebook account. And luckily, I had still had an active college email account. So there was this big reality show casting call that came through, and I needed to find a bunch of really cute girls and a bunch of really nerdy guys for the casting agent because the reality show was called Beauty and the Geek. And so I started going, friending people and finding people in the area that were college students and inviting them to casting calls, and it created this, huge influx of people. So it became this way to actually reach people. And then, of course, several years later, Facebook opened it up, and it's now taking over the world. But my first social media was MySpace was kind of what was cool when it was opening up.
Oh, I remember MySpace, yeah.
Yeah. So MySpace and things like Napster where you're sharing music, those were sort of what was cool when I was in college. And then, of course, now it is huge and ever-changing and there's more out there than you can even keep up with most days.
Hey, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you see is the difference between a social media platform that actually succeeds and works? I mean, I forgot MySpace existed until you just mentioned it. And, I mean, Facebook at the moment is everywhere. And it's like, but you know what, my son Nash, who's 11, and, both your kids, Emily and Megan, it's like when they get older, they're probably going to be like, Facebook, What makes it succeed? Yeah. What do you see as that element?
Well, right now, so Facebook, because they're always looking at the future, they are realizing that they're no longer going to be the social network because they just can't keep up with the intimacy that most people require to truly share personal information with their friends. So other things are taking over, like Instagram and Snapchat, where it's more, it's more closed communication styles. And so they're always to me, they're always looking probably 50, maybe 10, 50 years out. So they're aiming for actually taking over news and information. So Facebook, you'll see, I think, in the next 5 years being the place where you get all news and sort of stay up to date on your friends. So that's
the key thing go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Well, just literally not thinking, always looking for what's next, what's in the future, looking at, where kids are playing, what's fun for them, where things are moving. You really, it's constantly every 10 seconds looking towards what's going to be in 5 years. I don't even think you can predict what will be in 5 years at this point. It's changing so fast.
Yeah, I like that, but the willingness to actually have a look at the future, which is something you have to do in any business. It's you can't assume that what is occurring today is going to occur in the future. It's
Absolutely.
It's funny, I just spent some time with Chris, who's a friend of all of ours, and he operates the Antique Guild in Brisbane, Australia, Gary Douglas's antique shop, and sells jewelry, etc. And it's you can't even predict really of what is going to happen with the jewelry. I bought some Mabe pearls a while ago, and now you can't get them in the ocean. They don't make them anymore. So they're worth way more than what I originally bought them for. It's but our world is changing really fast. It's and you have to be willing to change with it in your business. So you have to be willing to be aware of what those changes are and not hold on to anything. If you look at, we always talk about Kodak. And it's the business of Kodak. It's they thought that they were always going to be selling film. That was never going to go away. It's always buying film. And it did. It's no, hardly anyone uses it. I was with a friend of ours too, Muse Sodergren, the other day, and she took these photos that were brilliant. And I thought she took them with her fancy camera, and she's no, my iPhone. I was really? That's just amazing of what you can create with that. So, which also brings me to the question of, what do you both see as the difference between in social media, tweeting a quote, etc., or a picture, with Instagram? What's the appealing aspect to either of them for social media to expand their business?
Well, what's that statistic, Megan? You might know it, of how much more quickly we process pictures. Our brain is, pictures are kind of king right now. With Instagram and Pinterest, it seems like all of the platforms that are using those, and even on Facebook, it's the images that always get so much attention and sharing. And I forget what the stat is, but our brains, we function from pictures, so there's so much quicker to give an idea of a brand that, and that's why Twitter didn't used to allow pictures, and now you can do a whole carousel of pictures on Twitter. So I think they got that.
Which again is smart, thinking of the future. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And that's what's cool. They think of it, and like you said, they're also really willing to change, because it's Kodak saw what was happening, but then really had that point of view that they didn't have to change, even though what was going on. So it's also that willingness that all the social media companies seem to really play with. The ones that are successful have really played with.
Hey, Emily, what made you decide to get involved with social media? How did you sort of see, how did Megan find you? She was
so
I know someone. I've been watching her.
I'm stalking her.
Yeah, right? Well, it's so funny because I literally...
How'd she get so lucky?
I like that point of view. That's so funny. I love Megan's story. I've never even heard that. No, I had the kind of the opposite experience where I didn't even have... I had a resistance to even having a phone that had internet on it, for real. And I had finally gotten my first iPhone, and then had taken a course online on social media because I had started a business with access bars, and I thought, I learned how to design. I just taught myself how to make my own website, and I put that up, and then I thought, well, it's probably going to be a good thing if I learn social media. And so I did a short, online course with some women that I had kind of started following beforehand. And I think when I first And then I just started using it. I saw a post online about, hey, does anyone know anything about social media? And I was like, I do. I just took a 7-week course on it. But I had a lot of resistance to it. I mean, I was literally, my friends that had Twitter accounts, I was like, I don't know if I see the point of that. I don't want to suck like all my time into it. It seems like I had all these really strong points of view. So what I look at now too is, what if where you have your resistance in your life is where you have a really huge capacity? Because then when I started doing it, I just realized, oh, this is actually really fun and easy for me. And so
for you.
For me. Yes. Yeah, so it was that I just learned kind of quickly, and I had fun playing on all the different platforms since I had sort of learned about all of them. And then I think I'd actually, so some other access consciousness facilitators I'd started doing their social media for them. And so one thing, like you said, Simone, a lot of people don't enjoy being on social media, or don't like it, or don't get it, or feel like they get sucked in or go into judgment about what everyone else is doing and if they're good enough. And so I was doing it for other people, and I think Megan found me because I had put a post up on a Facebook group in Access Worldwide, like, I need to find a nanny for my kids because I'm working so much doing social media. I don't have anyone to take care of my kids. And from that post, I didn't get any help on the nanny front, but everyone was like, do you want to do social media for me?
You got more work.
So I was like, wait, that doesn't work. So then Megan and I started talking, and she was like, well, Joy Business needs help. And like you said, I was like, I don't know anything about Joy Business, about business, even though like your Joy Business book was the one book I think I had read at that point maybe 5 times already and had notes all over it, like was one of my favorites, but I totally had the point of view that I wasn't going to know what to do, which is really funny.
Well, and the
which
one thing
is
for
so
her,
not what's happened.
well,
Go
and
ahead,
one
Megan,
thing that it might be good info for people looking at hiring different people is what I saw in Emily that was very different is I thought the people that she was working for, I thought they were actually doing their own social media. So these were people that were, certified facilitators that I thought had a huge presence in social media, and Emily was sort of the one behind the scenes doing it all. So I was shocked when I found out she was doing it all. And then the fact that she could do it and not have to take the credit for it, because a lot of people, they like to be stars. They like, so even when they're posting about other people, they're still, the information is still more focused on them. So not that that's a bad thing, but if you really want to hire a social media manager, you've got to make sure that their interest is to actually get you out there, not to get them out there.
I love that. And so we're going to be heading off to a break, and I'd love to ask you guys more questions about that, because it's true. It's like most people don't know that I don't do my own social media, and they're always surprised when they find out that I don't. Every now and then I'll flick something in there which probably just ruins all of Emily's whole idea of what it's looking like. But when we come back, we're going to we'll hear more about what does that look like and some hints and tools to make that easy. But don't go away, because we're not. We'll see you soon.
Is your current school not meeting the needs of your child? Have you been looking for a school that empowers your child to explore what he or she is truly capable of? The Access Possibilities School is an online school that offers a core curriculum in a totally different way. With frequent contact between teachers and students, the aim of Access Possibilities School is to nurture your child's unique gifts and to provide the best education available in a holistic way. To learn more about a school that can inspire and support you and your child, go to accesspossibilitieschool.com.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Joy of Business, and you're on with Simone Millis as your host, and I have the wonderful Megan and Emily, and we're talking about using social media to expand your business. Now, I would say we just left you on a cliffhanger because one of the things is, it's like if you do have someone doing your social media, or you look at hiring someone. Now, this is something in the Joy of Business classes that comes up a lot. Everybody thinks they have to do everything themselves. So, and it's the one place where they start to limit of what can show up for their business, because they're thinking, well, I have to do the business, I have to do the bookkeeping, I have to make the phone calls, I have to do my social media, I have to do the stuff on the computer. And somewhere in their world, they're like, I hate the social media, I hate the computer, I hate filing, I hate bookkeeping. Instead of actually asking a question of who or what else can I add to the business? And if you don't like social media, it's like, what if you even hired someone for 2 hours a week? And you may not, it may even be something that you did a contract to start off with. So don't let the fact that you're hiring someone scare you off of what you can create as a future for your business. Now, Emily and Megan, as we've discussed, I am probably one of their biggest fans, and they are brilliant at it. And they do social media for Gary Douglas, Dane Here, Access Consciousness, and it's like with myself, Simone Millis, and Joy Business. And they do have that ability to speak in other people's voices. So can you guys offer a little bit of a hint to anyone out there who actually might like a job in social media too? It's like, how do you go about that? What's the tricks of the trade?
Well, I think one of the key things is to really get a sense for, if you're somebody looking for a job in social media, get a sense whose voice can you be? Can you be someone else's voice? Is it even possible? Or do you need to just, look at a different way of creating it? Some people, I have some people who are, they could never, change and function from somebody else's point of view. So that's a whole other topic. But one of the things that I always coach people is to actually ask the person. So if I were doing your social media, Simone, I would literally wake up and say, okay, cool. What would Simone actually like to get out in the world today? And just tap into your world, tap into what you've been talking about, look at what you have coming up, and then post based on that, because then there's still a connection to you in everything that's going on in your profile. It doesn't become what Megan Hill thinks Simone should be doing in the world. It still is your voice, and that's why people still feel that it is very connected to you, and why you can swap in every once in a while, because it's not a complete departure from who you are and what you're creating. And it's also not canned. It's not a canned response. So right. It's still unique and relevant and timely.
Mm-hmm. Maybe live on OMTimes, Emily can tell me what she does think about me popping into our social media every now and then. Or can anyone notice?
No, I think you do a good job now, for sure. That's what Megan said, and I think that's when we first had conversations at the beginning. I didn't realize even I was doing that, but if there are days where I can't, come up with something, I really then even more so kind of ask those same questions of really get in your world, or, what would, one of the questions that Megan shared with me really early on is, well, what would consciousness like to say too? When you think of the Access Consciousness page for that brand, and really just asking, what are people looking to hear, and really functioning from that point of view, that it's not about me. It's about what are people looking for? What would conscious like to say? And also, being in your world and what's your point of view. I know when I first started, working with you, Simone, and Joy Business, it took me maybe a week or so, a few days or a week or so, because I wanted to read through, I had already read your book, but I also wanted to, I'd been on calls with you, so the more you hear someone's voice and the more you read their words or listen to them talk, then if you have that capacity, then that's what you're using. You're functioning from the way they speak and the words they use. And, so if you are looking to do social media for someone else, I think that's key to really get their voice. So you do have to listen to them, or if you're, if you can be around them, it's wonderful because you start to get how they function, so that when there isn't that incongruity, so that when I post it is like it's through you, like, so it works that way.
So you've always sort of got that. Go ahead, Megan.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's another key thing to realize is that if you're hiring someone as a social media manager, they do need to be sort of in your world. They need to hear everything you're talking about, whether that's like sending them, conference calls you've been having or emails. Like the more that you can have them intimately involved with your business, the better they're going to be able to actually be your business in social.
So, on adding to that too, I would say it's not holding back. And I know that, say Emily would get to see all sides of me, and I know that she would have the ability to know what's applicable for social media and what's not, sort of thing. As an example, the other day, and this wasn't with Emily, this was with our PR agent, Justin McKell, and I had a call with her, and just before the call, something happened that I was just like, God damn, and I was cranky, and I was so not in allowance of the stupidity of where someone was functioning from. So I was really feisty when we got on this meeting, and I said, look, I apologize, and I said, something's just occurred, and I was like, and the one thing in my life I find really hard to be an allowance of is stupidity. It's like being an allowance of stupidity is really hard for me. So I said, I'm gonna calm down in a second, but I'm sorry because I'm quite intense right now. And then I started talking about it and being an allowance of where everyone was functioning from, just because I would do it a certain way, or just because I would be faster than this person or be able to do certain things, doesn't mean that I should expect that of somebody else. And she goes, that's a great article. Okay, we're going to do an article on that. That's brilliant. And I was like, so everything she hears me do is good copy. I mean, I remember when I one of my businesses that I had to shut down, and I lost a bunch of money. And I was actually with her in San Francisco, and I was a bit oh my God, doing a bit of trauma and drama for an hour. And she's like, no, this is great copy. This is going to be excellent for your next book. Don't worry about it. But that's the way she saw it, because the thing is that I see with social media is, okay, so this is actually, I'm going to say what I see, and I'd like you guys to give your point of view, is that I don't get that it should all be about life is one happy big ball. And it's the mantra of Access is all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's every day you don't wake up and be woohoo, hysterically happy. It's sometimes there's some really hard stuff that shows up. How do you deal with it? And that's the one thing that Access Consciousness has, is tools and processes to deal with those crunchy moments. And I personally think that delivering on social media, everything is just rosy and awesome, can become a lie. But I've actually never had this discussion with you two. So what's your point of view on that?
I totally agree, and I think that actually is sort of where the magic lies. If you can actually get vulnerable and talk about that, that's truly what people are looking for. I think I've had conversations, with Gary Douglas, who he doesn't necessarily do his social media, but he still has total awareness of what will create. And one of the things that he's said lately is that people are going to be looking for the depth. If you keep painting everything as this rose-colored world, then people just get annoyed with that. But if you speak to the depth of what's going on and you give someone the tools, so if that's in your business, you acknowledge, hey, I don't know how I'm going to make this next payment, but here's what I'm going to do. Here are the questions I'm going to ask, or here's the meetings I'm going to have. Whatever that is, to be really clear with what's going on, that creates so much for people. If I write, even on my social media, what's going on with me as a parent or something that I'm stressed out about, I get more feedback from that than when I'm like, oh my God, look how amazing my life is. So.
But I get also the difference is too, it's there's a big difference between being vulnerable and then bleeding on people. And it's
no one likes that.
Drama of just no one likes to be bled on, ladies and gentlemen. So It's not about bleeding on people. But what if you were vulnerable and you actually offered some, assistance to other people? It's hey, this is what went on for me. And it's like you said, being a parent, there is no handbook. You don't get a handbook when a child's born and go, hey, this is what's going to happen. every child is completely different, and it all shows up really different. And it's like, how are you going to deal with this today? I mean, how old's Tristan now?
He's 4.
4. Yeah, 4.
So
yeah. He's his own man now.
He's like half adult, half baby. It's awesome to deal with.
Exactly. And I've got an 11-year-old who's now eating us out of house and home. Apparently he's growing. And Emily has 2 children. How old are your kids now?
3 and 6.
And you have some awesome, amazing stories that show that they're actually their own people. So it's sort of like, and you've put some really cool stories up, both of you have actually, on social media about being a parent. And it's like, so what if social media was also a way to not only let people know that you exist and you're out there, but give people other sort of tools and awareness of like, hey, this is what's going on for me too. It's like we're all sort of stumbling and falling, and then we can pick ourselves up and create a totally different reality. So everything is done that you're getting confused about social media, destroy and uncreate it, right? Not good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and girls. Go on.
I'm just going to say, so many people really do business because they like people. So, like, if they get to know you online, they may just want to buy your T-shirts or buy your whatever you're selling. People just, you know what I mean? It's like you take Richard Branson, for example. Yeah. He's got a great global presence online for his age and for everything. And just because he's cool and he puts awesome things out there, everyone wants to travel on his airline. Everyone's looking at what he's doing. And no one really, he's not necessarily proven anything. He's no greater than anyone else. It's just that he's got a great personality out there. So people lean towards following something like that.
Huh. You know what? What I get too is, though, he's willing to choose something different, and he's willing to have the adventure of living. Mm-hmm. And how many people out there are sort of trying to play it safe rather than actually have and be the adventure of living. So everything that doesn't allow you to be the adventure of living, and not to bleed all over social media, but use it to your advantage to actually change the world and change what occurs in your life and everybody else's life, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right now, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So we've got 10 seconds and we're heading off to another break as well. So we're going to come back and we're going to be talking with Megan Hill and Emily Russell more on using social media to expand your business. So I'm going to ask you guys when we come back for your top 3 tips each on how to use social media to expand your business. So don't go away, because we're not. We'll be back really, really soon. Go check out accessjoybusiness.com in the break.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
The Laying On of Hands Healing Radio Show is about treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Join me, Charles Smith, as I share life-balancing measures such as nutrition and spiritual practices to help you take charge of your own health and wellness every Thursday at 7 p.m. on OMTimes Radio.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would you like to be a part of creating a sustainable future on planet Earth? The El Lugar Foundation, created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Heer, is a non-for-profit organization providing alternative ways of working with and preserving land for a sustainable future. To donate and learn more, go to www.crowdrise.com/El Lugar. What kind of earth would you like to see passed on to the next generation and beyond? www.crowdrise.com/El Lugar.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hey everybody, we're back. And so I'm sorry, I was just saying to Brandon, my lovely, enjoyable other who's sitting across from me, that we need to do an advert for the telecall that we have coming up saying, relationship, are you sure you want one? But he just flew in yesterday from Australia, and he thinks that he said he looks like a Chinese Martian. His eyes are like little slits because he's so tired, and he's not making much sense. So he said, I'm not doing an advert tonight. We need to do it tomorrow. So how does it get any better than that? There's a little story for you in the background. So who wants to start? I want to give some top tips that people can start to use to expand their social media. And one thing I'd like to say, ladies, is that the people who are already doing social media, what do they need to choose or change, or what can they add? And the ones that are listening right now going, I hate it, I refuse it, it makes me, want to throw up. What can we say to them too?
Oh, that's so much. And it's funny when you asked this, Simone, I thought this is a test of how much Megan and I's head work alike too. If we have
That's what I'm doing. I'm secretly testing you. It's an intervention on OMTimes radio. So.
Well, I fill in what you don't say, Emily. How about that? You go. I said I'll fill in with what you don't say.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly.
Right. So the one thing, though, someone that you said, for the people that don't do social media now, and they're like, I think it's important, the traits that you're looking for in someone to do social media. I think one of them too is someone who really has your back, and cares about you. The person, like I care about what your kind of images in social media, right? As Megan does too. It's having that energy of someone who just adores promoting you and is really cares about what you're putting out in the world and has that voice, and that there are tons of people who have that and would love to do that. That it's fun for them and doesn't have to be fun for you. It's not fun for you. The three things I would think is for a business, what can really help expand with your social media. The first, which we kind of talked about, I would say, is to really be you, be yourself, be your brand, and it's not all that kind of. People aren't looking for that vanilla white bread sort of, they have everything perfect, they know how to run their business, they have the brand that does everything right. It is sharing those stories of what's changed for you. And then what I think we're so lucky with the businesses we work in too is to give your people, okay, here's what's going on for me, but then give them a takeaway tool that they can walk away from that post with, or that article they're reading, or the blog of, okay, here's this common experience that comes up for people in business. Here's a common experience that comes up in parenting or relationship or your life. And here's a totally different tool or way of looking at it. And that's how I see social media creating these different possibilities is everyone's going through similar things. And I know with the tools you have in Joy of Business and Access Consciousness, and if you're listening, what does your business have that offers that's totally different from everyone else? And really, when you have a global audience of social media, you don't have to appeal to everybody. That's the brilliance of the global audience, is it's the people that are looking for what you have to offer, and the reason you are different is what people are looking for. It's not that you're the same as everyone else. So it's being willing to be different and be you, and then sharing the tools that make your brand or your company really different. And then I would say the other one would be interacting with people, being actually social. So not just pushing your stuff out there, here I have this class or I have this radio show. If it's all of that, then people just feel pushed at. It's it is like a cocktail party. It's a social event. So it's when people make comments on your Facebook page or they reach out to you on Twitter, it's to respond to them and actually have that interaction so they do feel cared for. It's that new online way of feeling taken care of. So to make sure that you are responding and not just pushing stuff out there.
Hey, I really like the way that you said it's like a cocktail party. Because if I go to a cocktail party and I walk up to someone and they introduce myself, and it's I'm not going to talk at them. I'm actually going to ask them questions. I'm going to desire some sort of interaction. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty soon that they're going to walk away going, well, she wasn't much fun to talk to, or, it's not like just talking at them. So that's actually a really good way to look at it. And it's if you're at a cocktail party and it's social media, how are you going to interact with them? Are you going to ask them questions? Are you just going to tell them about yourself? So I like that analogy. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
so
took a couple of mine, but
you get a big tick, Emily. Now let's try to
got a head start.
Pressure's on.
Now I've got to really dig down.
Now you gotta fill in.
You gotta go deep, Megan. Go deep.
Go down your list.
Well, one of them I will expand on, and that is with the social aspect. So one thing that I notice people do is they think if they just interact in social media that's enough. And I would say the strongest way to actually use social media to create greater possibilities is to actually get out there and be social. So go to social events, go to, meetups, or go to networking events, or go to cocktail parties where you're actually meeting people. I went to a brunch a couple weeks ago and met like 20 new people, and now we're all Facebook friends. And those connections on Facebook will be far greater because I actually know them. So they're going to look, they're going to look into my stuff. They're going to see what I'm doing. I'm going to look at their stuff and see what they're doing because we've already made that personal connection. Doesn't mean that you can't connect with people in many other countries and not ever meet them personally. It's just that you want to make sure that you are coupling it with some sort of actual social life. So that would be number one.
Hey, I've got a question. I want to insert for a second. Because, like the other day, because I travel all over the world, meeting different people and stuff, and someone walked up and she's like, oh, we're Facebook friends. And I was like, hi. And it's like, but that's like not, because, I think I'm up to like 5,000, or close to, Facebook friends. And it's like, I really don't know everyone that I'm Facebook friends with. And it's like, so how do you see that being like, it sort of felt weird the way she was like, I'm Facebook friends. I felt like there was sort of a weirder energy of what she expected from me rather than just coming up and saying, hey, I'm this person, I'm Simone, and introducing ourselves and going from there. It was sort of based on we're Facebook friends. Like that was a ground theme, and I didn't know what to do with it.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have you reached a level of celebrity status that you haven't acknowledged?
My radio show, yes. Yes, okay,
so
yeah.
It's like people going up to, like you take a musician or something, they're like, oh my God, I've been listening to your music since I was 16 years old, blah, 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 blah. They feel like they know you. So that's exactly what it was. Every single day. Yeah, so I would just be like, wow, so I'm so happy to meet you in person. And then go, and move on. Yeah, because there's a lot. This is going to happen as you keep building your social media platform. People, it's such an intimate way of getting to know you. They know what you do. They know where you go. They know what you eat. They know what you wore the last day. And it does become a bit weird because they are watching you. And that's one key thing I would say too. I've met with people just coaching them getting started, and they're like, I feel like I'm just, talking to no one. But I remind them, you have the ability to tap into like 1 billion people, and there's going to be this groundswell. It keeps building over time. You have to be consistent. That is the annoying thing about social, is you do have to be this weird, tenacious consistency that keeps going and just keep posting. And even if no one ever likes your post, I guarantee you a couple hundred people actually saw it. And then that'll keep growing and swelling.
So weird, tenacious consistency. Tell me more about that.
Well, it takes you, those days that you wake up that maybe you do not wish to talk to anyone in the world and you'd rather, pretend like you live on an island. You still have to get out there. You still have to be
I do live on an island.
social.
I live in Australia.
Yeah, you do live in Australia. But one of the things I've been talking with some facilitators is that access consciousness itself, and what we've been creating for every social media platform that Emily and I work with, the different pages, we're touching 60 to 80,000 people every week. Those people keep watching us. They keep coming back for more. If we were to just decide that we're bored with something, or that we're tired, or that we don't want to put anything out there, then they go away. They don't have to come back. But you're feeding their thirst for information, for new tools. Everyone's looking for something, and we're constantly there with new stuff, with new exciting things, with so much enthusiasm. I don't know how Emily and I have so much enthusiasm, but We literally are freakish in our excitement, I think. So you want to find that person for whatever your business is. So say you sell like coffee. Find someone that thinks your coffee is the greatest thing that's ever existed and that everyone should drink it every second of every day, and they have that level of excitement for your brand and for everything you're doing, because that is actually the amount of energy that it will take to take you to the level that you could go to with social.
You know, there's something very kind and caring and nurturing about what you're talking about as well, on being available like that and the consistency, the tenacious consistency of being there for people. Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I started a business years and years ago called Good Vibes for You, and my idea of it was to create more vulnerability with people. I walked around and I saw that people didn't see the planet the way I saw it, that it was this amazing, you know, throbbing, energetic, alive, you know, amazing ocean, plants, you know, earth, all of that. And I saw people just doing trauma and drama and walking through it. Sort of felt like ripping it apart in each other. And so I thought, what can I do to change that and create a difference? So I did start this business called Good Vibes for You. And, you know, it was all about, you know, T-shirts and stickers and magnets with sayings on it that I perceived maybe someone would read and it would change their day for that moment. And it was sort of in some way about asking people to knock down the barriers, push the barriers down that they've created, they've developed, they've decided is a necessity, and not having that, and looking at the world and looking at everyone else in the world and saying, hey, you know, what's up? Like, what can we create? What can we generate? Not how much trauma and drama can we have? So that's where I was functioning from. And like when I met Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, in the first seminar I ever went to, I was like, oh my goodness, this guy's talking about everything that I wish to create in the world. He had the tools and the processes to make it really fast. So it was so attractive to me. And as you're talking, I'm seeing that you can create that energy on social media that is actually a huge gift to people to interact on a more vulnerable space, not a proving space, not a I've got it right or I'm wrong. Just to like, hey, what can we create together? What sort of world can we have if we were willing to be that vulnerable with each other? So what if you started using social media from that? We are going to have a break in about 10 seconds, so don't go into a big story because then you're going to leave people on a big cliffhanger.
I was just going to say that Emily and I look at every post we make. What if that is the only post somebody reads that day and it changes their world? And that's our target.
Oh, I like that.
We're interested in the change.
I love that. As we're going off to the break, what if every post you make changed somebody's world today? All right. We'll be back really soon with Megan and Emily.
What if you are the only one who truly knows how to create your business and your life? This September, the Joy of Business is coming to Denver, and Simone Milicis will be giving you tools and practices to discover what works for you to expand your business and your life. The one-day seminar, Access Business 101, has no prereqs and is followed by 2 days of Access Business 102. These classes are for anyone desiring to create more. Join us at accessjoyofbusiness.com/classes. Is now the time to create what you know is possible but haven't been choosing?
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
The Conscious Parenting Radio Show provides inspiration and resources for loving, empowering, and respecting your children and yourself. Join me, Timothy, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we consciously explore proven ways of living together in happiness, health, and harmony.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Joy of Business. Now we're on our last segment. It's gone very, very quickly. So before I'm sort of counting down the seconds of it going, I actually want to do a couple of little adverts. Megan and Emily are doing a 3-day Zoom teleconference. So you get to actually see their faces, and they're both beautiful blondes, intelligent, beautiful blondes. And it's from the June 21st to June 23rd. And if you want to find out more about it, you can email us at omtimes@accessjoybusiness.com. You can also email any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about. And you can also go to accessconsciousness.com and look under Megan Hill, the nice and easy, and Emily Russell. So you can find them under United States facilitators. They're both certified facilitators, amongst many other things. So accessconsciousness.com. And please, if you've been listening to my shows and you haven't got your bars run, go find a facilitator somewhere in the world. Go to accessconsciousness.com or bars.accessconsciousness.com and find a facilitator that you can actually get your bars run. It's the 32 points on the head that create so much change and so much ease in your world. I was just running someone's bars before for 3 hours, and they were like, oh my God, how do people survive without bars? And I truly don't have an answer for that because I do not know what I did without bars. So if you're feeling cranky, you're feeling frustrated, you feel like your head is about to explode and that the world is all tumbling down around inside you, go to a bars class. That's even better. You get to run bars twice and you get to receive bars twice, and you can actually do it as a business or just go get your bars run. But it's one of the most amazing things in the world, and that's part of the Access Consciousness tools and processes that can start to literally set you free and change any area of your life that you think is not working for you. So there we go. There's my little advert. My strong suggestions. Go join Megan and Emily's 3-day Zoom teleconference course. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And these guys are filled with information. And the one thing I see is they don't function from, and maybe this is something you guys can talk about as well, is they don't seem to function from the same point of view each day. It's not like they go, oh, I've got it right. There's an energy of which they introduce social media to the business and to the world, and yet they are also willing to look at the future and what the future requires and how they interact with the world and how they interact with each business. So on that, is there anything you guys can add to that?
I can say this number. Again, go ahead, Megan.
You know what I love? They're both being so polite. They have that little space and they wait for the other one, and then they're like, because neither of them, I know this from experience, neither of them are short of a word. So go ahead, Emily.
It's so funny. I was going to say that thing that we talked about, being aware of the future. I think what Megan and I look at in whatever business you're in, if you're listening, like where your business is going in the future, like what upcoming events do you have or what new products do you have or where do you want to go? And then when that's in your awareness, that's what I'm posting from. So it's like months out, I know there's going to be a class or an event around like the body. Then what if I could just put that in people's awareness in social media and not push the class at them or the event or the product? It's like, what questions are people asking about that, about the body or about relationships or about your product? And focusing your social media on days that when you're asking, that's what people are looking for, but giving them the tools and the difference, what you offer around the topic that you know is coming up in the future. So, but you don't have to push your product directly. You're just putting in people's awareness so they have the tools. They have this different awareness of what you're creating that's different than anyone else, so that in the future, when you do have that thing that maybe you're offering to sell, the class, the event, that people are so grateful because they've gotten all this other stuff from you, and it's like you keep them reaching for more with that enthusiasm and that excitement of there's always something new coming, and you're always presenting that, you're always going forward.
So, for example, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they rang me, and they said, what are you up to? Are you free? And I went, yeah, I'm sitting on our veranda in Dublin, Ireland, having a glass of wine with Brendan talking about tax planning. He was like, how romantic. And I said, actually, it is romantic because we're creating a future. And he laughed and he said, oh, thanks so much for your soundbite on that he got sent as an email, and it was on social media, on giving a man space in a relationship because we have the upcoming telecall. So that sort of thing. where it's like you give out little sound bites, you give little tools and hints to people that they can actually come away with something and change the area of their life that they think is not working for them. And then there's sort of like the added, hey, you can also join up for this. Is that what you mean?
Yes, totally.
Yes, you're leading
So, Megan, over to you, leading them astray. You've led me astray a few times.
Yes. I think that one of the things that you have to be really careful about with social media is it's such a new, it's the trending thing. Everybody's talking about it. So there's so many people out there saying that this is the way you have to do it. You have to post this many times. You have to do a video like this. You have to, this is how you have to do everything. And I'm always looking at, okay, that's cool. And what works for us and the businesses I'm working on. And is that actually, like, what is working right now, is that actually going to work 6 months from now? So, Facebook is changing all the time. Like, all these social medias are changing all the time. So if you really want to be on the creative edge, you kind of have to keep playing with it. So Facebook changed like 6 months or a year ago, I can't remember now, but they changed to make videos the most popular thing that they would basically put in their news feeds. So we were already ahead of that and putting videos in there because you can actually see numbers and things changing with their algorithms before they sort of come out and announce it, because they test it before they announce it to the world. So always like looking towards what's next, what's the future, where is this going, and then playing with it, and it could change. It's like if somebody said, well, what if Facebook goes away? What's the business going to be? I'm like, yeah, you can't make your business about Facebook. It has to actually be using different platforms to actually create. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but.
No, it does. It makes total sense. And it's like what I'm hearing is the brilliance of your awareness of it and also the brilliance of their business. I'm constantly amazed at that as well, as the willingness that they have for the future. Like I know, at one stage, I think you were talking to me saying that Facebook doesn't really like YouTube videos. And it's like, of course they wouldn't. Facebook, unless they're in partnership. And it's like the YouTube videos are going up there. And now with those little live videos that you can do, like I did one the other day from Copenhagen, Denmark, and I did it deliberately knowing what I was creating because we had Enjoy Business Facilitator training. There was this afternoon at the restaurant. We had all these little create tables, and it was awesome. People were so excited and so enthusiastic, and that energy, I knew I could capture it. And I did, and the amount of comments and people, commenting either on Facebook or emailing me or calling me just going, oh, my goodness, I so wanted to be there. And it was such a brilliant way to portray the energy of what we were creating into the world. So it's like, using social media to expand your business and using social media to your advantage.
Absolutely. And also looking at how to get around their rules and algorithms and things. I know, so we talked earlier that pictures are what basically everything is decided is the most valuable thing. So, for example, if I know you have a class coming up and I want to put a poster-like thing on my news feed, but I don't want Facebook to say that it's advertising, I'll just take a picture of the poster with my phone because all it can read is that it's a photo file. So the algorithm, you can actually outsmart the algorithm by doing things like that. So what if you could always outcreate, outsmart, and sort of stay on the creative edge of everything out there and bypass whatever they're trying to do to control, different information. What if you could have fun?
I like that.
And create?
What if you could have fun with outsmarting and creating? I like that. If you have liked listening to Megan and Emily today, which I always like listening to them, I'm very, very grateful for both of you in my life. I would definitely go and check out accessconsciousness.com, Megan Hill and Emily Russell, and join up for their call. That's on the 21st of June. And like we said, it's on Zoom. So, and if you haven't done a Zoom, it's very, very easy. It's like they will get to, send you a link and you jump on. And what are you guys going to be talking about on that call?
I think we'll go wherever people would like to go. I've done several things, and Emily's done several things that are more introductory and like how to set up accounts and how to do different things. So the idea is that this will go a little bit beyond that and and get into some fun tools, things like bypassing the algorithms or using access consciousness tools and magic to out-create different things. And we'll have Zoom because we can actually show you. You know, we can actually share our screens and show you sort of behind-the-scenes magic that we do, from everything from Facebook to Pinterest to, if you guys want to get into Snapchat, we can go anywhere. So,
what is Snapchat? I saw that was in our show description, and I knew all of it except I didn't know Snapchat.
It's the newest thing. So it's sort of like the newest thing it's what all the kids are doing these days is what I like to say. So basically they started it just ways that they've shared really short, like 7-second or less videos, just pictures that sort of disappear. So things aren't necessarily tracked and kept on there. But now, of course, because it's had success with teenagers and very, 20-somethings, it's now getting into using it to create businesses and such. So it's still very playful and a great place to be, just to be there, just in case somebody ever is looking for you on Snapchat.
Nice. Well, okay, so I've got an 11-year-old son, so he's a bit older than your kids, and I do notice that written anything, nothing. Like, that would be so boring to him. But he'll spend hours in his room and come out, and he's made all these videos. And one of the things he did start was, it's called What's Smarty Pants, and it's a YouTube channel. And he was teaching kids how to do science and maths because he finds it really easy. But he does it all on stop video. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it on stop video, and he loves making them and does his little science and everything. And then, so watch out what the kids are doing, because that's what's going to be coming up for in the next social media thing. Follow the kids. So we have about 20 seconds left. Is there anything that you guys would like to add, say, leave the listeners with? I'm so grateful for both of you.
Thank you, Simone,
for you guys. Yeah, so grateful.
No, I'm more grateful for you guys.
Tools. We use Joy of Business tools in everything we do. So,
Oh,
we're very grateful.
September. Yeah, September. 1st, 2nd, 3rd of September. Come visit us. We'll all be there. Bye-bye.